I think this is the most satisfying combination of teams we could have in the NFC because really it's the teams that have been the best for the duration of the year. And you could have argued that the Cowboys and Eagles would have been as well, but I think there was a little bit more variance with Dallas week to week than there was with San Francisco, where aside from the Trey Lance experience, San Francisco and also like 1 week of Jimmy Garoppolo not being great, the 49ers just had a more functional team for the entire season. This may sound like an insane statement, but I genuinely think if you combined the Eagles and 49ers, that team could take on the entire rest of the NFC put together. I think there's just that much star talent on both of these teams. As we return back to things that are literal and not theoretical, though, we look at the stats of the quarterbacks, and as you can see, there is a slight preference for Jalen Hurts, but it may not be as big of a margin as you would have expected, considering at the end of the day, Brock Purdy still is Mr. Irrelevant and is in his first year of play. When we look at the defensive side of the ball for San Francisco, there's really a lot to like because, first and foremost, you just play the correct personnel for defending the Eagles, meaning they're 4-3 with four defensive linemen and three linebackers, is going to be better at defending the run and defending tight ends if you have linebackers that can cover than a nickel defense will be. So they are aligned perfectly in that sense because the Eagles have a dynamic duo at receiver, and then it's Dallas Goedert and the run game. So they're going to be able to stop the run game and Goddard with the linebackers, the additional linebacker that they have. And then I think they'll hold up nicely enough in the pass game as well because Quez Watkins is a good speed guy, but that's pretty much all he brings to the table. A worry I would have is Diamador Lenore guarding either AJ Brown or Devonta Smith is not ideal. But the thing that keeps it from being a very pronounced weakness is they're not going to put him in man coverage against them. It'll be more of a match coverage, which ultimately will look like man, but it's less of a responsibility than just saying shut that receiver down. Another issue is that Charles Omenihu, who is a real menace as a pass rusher, is not a very good run defender, though, as a defensive tackle, because he's pretty undersized for the position. And that's going to be problematic against another undersized player in Jason Kelsey, who just makes a living off of moving people. Just as a little bit of a side note, I think this is the exact game you look at and say that the Travarius Ward signing looks so good in particular for, because he just matches up so well with an AJ Brown or a Devonta Smith, even as they both do most of their action on the outside, and he's a true shutdown outside corner. As we shift on over to the 49ers offense now, please be sure to like and subscribe, as it truly would make a difference. One thing I really like for the 49ers is that there is going to be some involvement in the pass game centered around attacking Marcus Epps and Kaiser White, respectively. So I'm imagining George Kittle will be overpowering Kaiser White, or Christian McCaffrey will be separating on a short route against Marcus Epps. So there are distinguishable things that are a weakness for Kyle Shanahan to exploit. And that's usually something Kyle Shanahan is really good at doing, is attacking what is weak on the opponent. Another thing is he should be able to be pretty creative in the run game, which is nice because this Eagles defense can be a bit soft as a run defense, which is eradicated on the plays that Jordan Davis is in for, but those are not going to be every play. In the end, what do I think will decide this game? I think it'll ultimately come down to Jalen Hurts just having more experience in playoff type games than Brock Purdy does, because I think so far they've both, for the most part in this regular season, just been able to connect on what they want to connect with, which is for Hurts, Brown, and Smith. I don't know why I was struggling so hard on his name. And for the 49ers, it's Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, or McCaffrey, which admittedly is hard to stop. But I think we saw with the Cowboys, really good defenses can shut down basically all of your star players and force you into really tight throws where it's, only makeable for the very elite. And I think that's going to be what favors Hurts, is he's been able to do it for longer just because he's played more games, but also he has more of a threat with his legs as a secondary threat, whereas Purdy is more of that traditional pocket quarterback with some speed to him.